The Democrat corruption machine is finally being exposed on all fronts, from laundering millions through major banks to tip-off illegals to mortgage fraud at the Federal Reserve to school teachers targeting conservative kids as future dictators. The entire rotten system is collapsing, and James O'Keefe just caught them right-handed, funneling donor cash through Universal Music, Bank of America, and Goldman Sachs. Fed Governor Lisa Cook is heading to the DOJ for alleged fraud. Even Morning Joe can't stomach Gavin Newsom's pathetic Trump impersonation anymore. Sidney Powell says we might need to investigate every Democrat in office. The money trails, the document dumps, the panic, it all points to one thing: total systematic corruption at every single level. The receipts are coming out, so stay tuned. Now, before we jump into today's news, here's a quick word from our sponsor, Hyperbit Technologies, trading under HYPAF on the U.S. market. As President Trump puts the spotlight on crypto and pushes forward policies to keep America ahead in the digital asset race, Hyperbit is charging ahead with next-generation crypto mining technology, expanding on their multi-million crypto treasury that already includes Bitcoin and Ethereum, and aiming to position itself to benefit from pro-innovation laws and executive orders. Now, this is a complete diversified company that gives you one-stop exposure to the entire crypto sector without having to pick and choose individual projects. Honestly, I could talk about Hyperbit all day, but Trump's bold pro-crypto stance says it all. For everything you need to know, check out the link in the description below, hyperbit.ca. Now, we got some big news. This just in. Stephen Miller announcing on Fox News that the Boston mayor, Michelle Wu, now facing criminal charges for refusing to change the city's sanctuary policy to cooperate with ICE. AG Bondi is going to see this thing through to the end. Mayor Wu responding to Bondi, "Stop attacking our cities. To hide your administration's failures, unlike the Trump administration, Boston follows the law." Well, let's hear what Stephen Miller had to say.
Mayors, how the sanctuary cities like Boston refuse to turn over these menacing threats to public safety. And so now they face not only revocation of funds, not only the loss of taxpayer support, but also potential criminal charges for harboring and smuggling. This is as real as it gets, Sean. The Department of Justice laid out to these mayors how they were breaking our laws, and they refuse to change their policy, and Attorney General Bondi is going to see this thing through to the end. The sanctuary city...
all the way to the end. Here is Boston Mayor Michelle Wu responding to Bondi's request for sanctuary jurisdictions.
From the federal government. Last week, Boston received a letter from the Attorney General of the United States on official letterhead from the federal government threatening to prosecute city officials and withhold federal funds unless we cooperate with carrying out mass deportations.
What's that smell? You smell that? That's the smell of her shitting her pants.
At a time
they can smell it too.
When this federal administration is already causing so much fear and harm in our communities. These threats are serious and consequential.
Yeah, you bet your ass they are.
But our same communities have told me loud and clear that silence in the face of oppression is not an option.
Somebody should throw you into Boston Harbor, honey. But I kid. That's just a joke. I don't advocate violence. Okay, that's a reference to the Boston Tea Party. You know, that's what it is. I don't advocate for anything. All right, chill out.
The U.S. Attorney General asked for a response by today. So here it is.
Okay. Oh, this is the wind-up. Here's the wind-up. Everyone's waiting.
Here is our response. Stop attacking our cities to hide your administration's failures.
What failures exactly are you talking about? The Trump administration's failures? As far as I can tell, I'm getting real tired of winning.
Unlike the Trump administration, Boston follows the law. And Boston will not back down from who we are and what we stand for. We will not! We will not back away from our community that has made us the safest major city in the country and a leading example of why cities around the country make this country safer, healthier, and more prosperous for all Americans. Last week, Boston received a letter.
Yeah, well, pretty soon the next letter is going to be a subpoena. Okay. We do have to talk about the Cracker Barrel. Apparently, Cracker Barrel is under siege. Luke Rudkowski posting this 6 hours ago. They got rid of a white guy from a logo, and they're celebrating, patting themselves on the back for it.
And can I get a remodel? Honestly, the feedback's been overwhelmingly positive that people like what we're doing. I'll give you another soundbite. I actually happened to be in Orlando last week with all of our managers. We bring them together and every other year. And the number one question that I got asked, Michael, was, how can I get a remodel? When can I get a remodel? How do I get on the list?
Oh, really?
So because the feedback and the buzz is so good, not only from our customers, but from our team members. They want to work in a wonderful restaurant. So we're doing everything for our guests and our team members.
Well, Julie Messino, it's wonderful to have you here.
Pleasure to be here.
Thank you for answering those questions for all the Cracker Barrel fans out there. There's a lot of great changes.
Thank you so much.
All right, thank you. Robin?
Yeah, from what I understand, she is part of the community of Rainbow Friends. But if you all remember, C3 says, with all the talk about Cracker Barrel, remember this genius? Bud Light Marketing Vice President Alyssa Heinerscheid thought it was a great idea to have a man in a dress sell beer to other men. Hard to believe major brands didn't learn. No, they just have to learn the hard way. Tim Pool writes, as a mixed race person, I'm only allowed to eat at Asian fusion restaurants owned by white people. TBF Cracker Barrel is effing awesome.
I don't think I've had it with white people that triple trumped. Yeah. That have the nerve and the audacity to walk into a Mexican restaurant, a Chinese restaurant, an Indian restaurant, go to perhaps their gay hairdresser. I don't think you should be able to enjoy anything but Cracker Barrel. And if you want to triple trump and you want to browbeat DEI and you want to browbeat gay people and you want to browbeat black people as you've been doing for 400 years, and you want to browbeat this generation of immigrants that come over here and open up businesses earnestly, pay their taxes, you want to demonize them and call them rapists and felons and all this shit when the felon is the teeny weeny mushroom cock piece of shit, Kankle's McTaco tits at the top of the ticket. I have fucking had it from top to bottom. White people that triple Trump should be banned, boycotted from enjoying the best thing that America has to offer, which is multiculturalism. Get your fat asses out of the Mexican restaurant. Get your fat asses over to Cracker Barrel, because nobody wants to see your fucking smug ass, teeny weeny, pink arm, big gut around. Nobody wants to see that shit. No one.
Wow. Who the hell is that? Jennifer Welch and Angie Pumps Sullivan. Jennifer Welch. New episodes every week. Cracker Barrel's new CEO isn't an accident. It's CEO Julie Fels-Massano's project. She scrapped a beloved American aesthetic and replaced it with sterile, soulless branding. Massino kept a DEI regime that promises to identify, recruit, and advance hires by race, now faces civil rights complaints from America First Legal to the EEOC and the Tennessee AG. She should resign and be replaced with leadership that will restore Cracker Barrel's tradition. Cracker Barrel in the LGBTQ plus alliance. supporting home office and field employees who bring their whole selves to work while strengthening Cracker Barrel's relationship to the LGBTQ plus community. And there is your new Cracker Barrel logo. Yeah, remember what they did to Aunt Jemima? Now they're doing it to Cracker Barrel. What is the point? You know, just serve me my damn pancakes. Okay? Oh, what's J.D. Vance saying over here? He's got, you got to stop putting the interests of foreigners who don't have the right to be here over the interests of the American citizens. That's the entire point and purpose of the Democrat Party.
Of American citizens. So I don't want to get ahead of any administration announcements, but we are looking at a whole host of points of leverage we can exercise over California and other states to make sure they comply with the law. Sanctuary cities are killing people because you allow these violent criminals to set up shop in your cities. Obviously, you saw this case with the person who murdered people on the road, 3 people on the road, because he couldn't even read the road signs. We have a lot of points of leverage here, but fundamentally, I think the American people have to stand with us here. Because when we go and tell the governor of California or the governor of New York that you have to stop putting the interests of illegal aliens over American citizens, we need the American people to stand with us. And I think that they will. I think that they are. But we're definitely not going to let this slide, Laura. You can't do it. You've got to stop putting the interests of foreigners who don't have the right to be here over the interests of American citizens. That is the entire point and purpose of the Democratic Party. If you go back to the election of 2024, what was the big issue? The big issue was illegal immigration. They were actually defending the rights of illegal immigrants to come into our country, to vote in our elections, to collect Social Security and Medicaid that ought by right go to American citizens, to say nothing of housing. This is actually the biggest driver of housing costs in some of these big blue cities, is that they've flooded the zone with illegal immigrants. Oh,
we just got this. This is from the Right to Bear memes. Sell Cracker Barrel. Nancy Pelosi meme right there. More from Cracker Barrel. CEO Julie Massano should face charges for this crime against humanity. Okay, so I guess this is, I believe, what it normally would look like. Last time I was there, when I was down in South Bend, this is what it looked like, but I guess this is what the new remodel looks like. What? How sterile. I love the old country look. I love the tchotchkes on the wall. I love the general store. I love the little game with the triangle and the T's. I love it. But this is what you're going to get now? Looks like a freaking Denny's. If I want to go to a place that looks like Denny's, I'll go to Denny's. Unreal. Okay, we got some more to get to here. Texas State Representative Nicole Collier gets thrown out of the bathroom at the state capitol where she's on a conference call with Cory Booker, Gavin Newsom, and Democrat Party leader Ken Martin. This is the state of the Democrat Party. Conference calls in bathrooms. And she gets thrown out. I can't wait to see this. Cory Booker. There's another winner.
There you go.
To leave. They said it's a felony for me to do this. Apparently, I can't be on the floor or in the bathroom. Well, you told me I was only allowed to be here in the bathroom. No, hang on. Bye, everybody. I've got to go.
Hey.
Yeah, you know why you can't live stream a conference call from the bathroom? It's called privacy. It's pretty simple. Okay, I don't go to public bathrooms anywhere and set up cameras and do a live show. Would never even think of it. But Democrats apparently think that's like perfectly okay. And she's like, "Why are you kicking me out of the bathroom? What?" Unreal. There's about another minute left of this.
That is outrageous. And first of all, let me tell you something. Representative Collier in the bathroom has more dignity than Donald Trump in the Oval Office.
There you go.
That is outrageous.
Listen to these people. Oh my goodness, they're defending her having a meeting in the bathroom. Maybe people don't want to be on camera when they're doing the business. More dignity. I mean, maybe Gavin Newsom should live stream while he's taking a shit. I would pay to see that. No, I wouldn't. Actually, no, I would not. I'm sorry. I've really dragged this segment down to the gutter, and I apologize. I really do. Let's try to bring it up a notch. I'll do my best, but these people drive me to the level of insanity. Shout out to my Culligan man, by the way.
Outrageous. What they're trying to do right there is silence an American leader, silence a black woman. and that is outrageous. And I hope everybody took note of that.
Yeah, we did. They're trying to silence a black leader while she's live streaming from the can. No, they're not. It's because those people that want to use the can, they want dignity. Cory Booker defending this. This is the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life.
The fact that she can't even let her voice be heard is freaking outrageous.
It is.
And this is what we're fighting for here. This is ultimately what this is about. What we just witnessed, them trying to shut her down and say it's illegal for her to be in the bathroom and on this call. This is the lengths that they're going to in Texas to try to bring about a system so unjust and so unjustifiable that they are going to try to silence those leaders from being heard and speaking out.
Oh, sorry, I was just live streaming from the bathroom. Cory Booker. I've heard his bathroom stories. Do you remember the bathroom stories of Cory Booker? Assaulting males? Oh, yeah, look it up. Oh, there's a whole laundry list of all the people that he's assaulted in bathrooms. Oh, Cory bathroom. That was what we called. We called him Bathroom Booker. I just remembered that. Look it up. Google it.
I hope I hope people felt what just happened like I did.
Oh,
because
I felt it, man. I felt it.
For too long in this country.
I felt it. It was a solid deuce, man.
And speaking out. I hope I hope people felt what just happened like I did, because I've watched for too long in this country as women like her, as they come after people like her to try to silence her, to try to silence them. But no more. This is not going to happen.
They said it's a felony for me to do this. Apparently, I can't be on the floor or in the bathroom. Well, you told me I was only allowed to be here in the bathroom. No, hang on. Bye, everybody. I've got to go.
This is hilarious. Oh, my goodness. It's like a Saturday Night Live skit, but it's real. Speaking of Saturday Night Live, check out this fat ass. Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker signs a law granting illegal aliens access to student financial aid. But don't touch the buffet line. Whatever you do. That is where Pritzker draws the line. I mean, he looks like Grimace here in his purple, whatever sweater he's wearing. Oh, JB. Okay, let's get to O'Keefe Media Group. Sources confirm donors funneled millions of dollars through Universal Music Group, Fidelity, Bank of America, Goldman Sachs to tip illegals off, while Progressive Caucus insider admits caucus secured injunctions to stop deportation flights. James O'Keefe strikes again.
We've been able to have injunctions that stop, deportation flights and other types of things, so.
Kian Bahad admitted their caucus has secured injunctions that literally halt deportation flights, while also stating that people need to pressure their local governments to not cooperate with the feds.
I think pressuring your local government to not cooperate at all with any of these federal agents.
Last month, our undercover cameras caught Santiago Muquea, a director at the Vera Institute, admitting the group tracks ICE movements and pushes that information out so illegal immigrants can dodge enforcement. He also bragged about major donors, Jeff Bezos, Bill Gates, and others.
Who's your main donor?
It's usually the foundations, like the Gates Foundation, or Jeff Bezos, or some of these huge philanthropists who have millions of dollars.
After further investigation and conferring with multiple sources, OMG has found even more names on Vera's donor list. This money trail goes much deeper, with names listed such as Goldman Sachs, who donated $5 million, Fidelity forking over $1.3 million, Bank of America $250,000, and even Universal Music Group giving $50,000, all to the 501c3 NGO, the Vera Institute. We then turned our attention back to Vera's website just to see what exactly they're supporting with these funds that they're receiving from these massive foundations. The Vera Institute isn't just helping illegal immigrants evade ICE, they funnel money into radical causes like Black Lives Matter.
There was looting underway nearby.
The nation erupted into scenes of chaos,
openly calling for police to be defunded and dismantled. It's not just outside groups like Vera working to undermine federal immigration enforcement. Even inside Congress, members of the Progressive Caucus are actively working behind the scenes to stop deportations. That's where this man, Kian Bahat, a policy director for the Congressional Progressive Caucus in the U.S. Senate, comes in.
Why is ICE and the Department of Homeland Security doing this? Like, what's the agenda?
I think the cruelty is the point. I think they want to show that they are this authoritarian, police force that is just breaking up immigrant communities, and that alone is going to show his racist right-wing base that they mean business. Like, they want to see these people suffer, and I think they enjoy having all of these communities be in fear.
Do you work with any organizations to help the illegals come back at least, or to prevent ICE and Homeland Security?
It's a really tough situation right now.
Yeah.
I think, in certain cases we've been able to win. So,
really? How,
yeah, I mean, some of the most egregious instances we've been able to have injunctions that stop, deportation flights and other types of things, So,
you know what blows my mind? This guy's on a date. And the woman who's asking these questions, I mean, she sounds like a reporter. And this guy is just spilling the beans. Morons. That's what you get from the Democrat Party. Let's check in some of the most unhinged media meltdowns to celebrate Newsbusters' 20th anniversary. Should we? Okay, fine, we will.
Corpse! The feeling most people get when they hear a Barack Obama speech, I felt...
Well, before we get to that, I want to point out, we got this board meeting I'm going to show you next. This is going to make you mad. But first, this.
The feeling most people get when they hear a Barack Obama speech, I felt this thrill going up my leg. I don't have that too often.
The Republicans lie. They want to see you dead. They'd rather make money off your dead corpse. They kind of like it when that woman has cancer and they don't have anything for her.
The land on which they formed this union was stolen. The hands with which they built this nation were enslaved. The women who birthed the citizens of the nation are second class.
Somehow, the idea got into their minds that to kill other people is a great thing to do and that they would be rewarded in the hereafter.
But Christians do that every single day in this country.
Do they blow people up every single day?
Yes, Christians every day. People walk in the post office.
We have never invested as much in public education as we should have because we've always had kind of a private notion of children. Your kid is yours and totally your responsibility. We haven't had a very collective notion of these are our children. So part of it is we have to break through our kind of private idea that kids belong to their parents.
This was a white lash. This was a white lash against a changing country. It was a white lash against a black president.
Well, I think that if you look at Hillary Clinton's qualifications, I mean, my God, since the founding fathers, has anyone tried to run for president with more on their resumes?
Well, it's one thing to talk to Jesus. It's another thing when Jesus talks to you.
Exactly. Okay, well, that's different.
That's different. That's called illness, if I'm not correct. I'm hearing voices.
If you voted for Trump, you voted for the person who the Klan supported. You voted for the person who Nazis support. That's the crowd that you are in.
Those lights that are just shooting out from the Lincoln Memorial along the reflecting pool, it's like almost extensions of Joe Biden's arms embracing America.
The word on the street is that you guys aren't allowed to be liberal anymore. Is that the case?
I don't think we ever were liberal.
What?
The South African Constitution is generally thought of as one of the best constitutions in the world, and ours continues to be a piece of crap.
Start your tape right now, because I'm about to tell you the truth. And F you if you can't handle the truth. This version of Biden, intellectually, analytically, is the best Biden ever.
Oh, man, that's a great collection of moments. Lowlights. Love it. Congratulations, Newsbusters, for your 20th anniversary. One of my favorite follows, a great organization. But what's not a great organization is the Naperville 203 board. Woke board members at Naperville 203 in Illinois, which is not too far from me, expressed how they were concerned about following federal Title IX laws that prevent males from invading female sports in locker rooms. These people who want to ignore federal law and allow boys to invade girls' private spaces are in charge of your kids' education.
Law still, but it won't be too long. So I'm looking at my question I had sent ahead. So I just want to make sure I really understand, right? Okay, so the updates in policies 2.26, 2.265, and 5.01 that reflect the federal government's most recent updates to Title IX and eliminating language around gender identity. Obviously, I have some concerns around that. I know that and your answer was really great about letting us know how the state law still protects youth.
Wait a second. I didn't hear you announce your pronouns, honey. What are they? What are your pronouns? Declare them. How am I supposed to know how to address you if I do not know your pronouns? I think I know what her pronouns are. Oh, did I say her? Damn. Pronouns are it and was.
I'm just curious if, because the federal government changes, are we mandated to comply with what they want?
Yeah. If you want federal money, that's how it works. So let's see what the answer is.
Us to put in there or remove, technically remove. So
yeah, as the authors of Title IX, the federal government does have the ability to tweak in their regulations what is and what is not protected by that particular document. So we cannot add federal protections to that. The state of Illinois does still offer those same protections, however.
Okay.
Holly?
So I have similar concerns. I think I'm just going to flag ahead of time that as we review this and see your answers, be seeking kind of clarity in how we can be really clear about Illinois protections and how that might be worded. But plenty of time.
But it won't be too long.
These are the people who want to raise your kids in public schools. Let's check in on the Morning Joe, where the complete meltdown occurred, and the current state of the Democrat Party. Something is happening to Morning Joe. Something is happening to Joe Scarborough. I'm not quite sure exactly what it is. I think that he's slowly transitioning. Not in that fashion. I think he's slowly leading his audience into some kind of a Trump positiveness. I'm not sure, because a lot of the stuff I'm seeing coming out of him feels like he is shifting, but I don't buy it in a genuine sense. But let's hear what he has to say here.
And talk like you're trying to do everything to distract the American people from the fact that you're screwing up on job one. And job one is helping working Americans and helping the middle class afford their lives and build a life where their children are going to live better than them. That's the American dream. And you have done nothing but play politics over the past year and a half. It's really not that hard to do.
We'll see.
It's really not. Cut and paste. It's really not hard to do. And I would be telling the Republicans the same thing if Democrats were off over here. It's not hard, but I don't know why they like Gavin Newsom. He wants to own Donald Trump. He wants to be Donald Trump light. You can't be Donald Trump light. Hey, Gavin, talk into the camera and talk about making life more affordable, not only for people in California, but if you want to talk about people in New Hampshire, our people in Iowa, our people in South Carolina, they would like to know how their lives can be more affordable. Not how you can own Donald Trump. Donald Trump is not running again. These Democrats, who I have called Chuck Wepner instead of Muhammad Ali, Chuck Wepners, they're the ones that are running again. They're the ones that are in the boxing ring with Democrats, not Donald Trump.
It does seem, and we'll see if Democrats are taking note.
Like, you're trying.
Imagine having to sit in that studio and listen to Joe Scarborough just scream at you for 1 minute and 22 seconds. But clearly, something is up with Joe Scarborough. We're going to keep a close eye on his transition. Jelly Belly Pritzker, conservative roof, writes, no, unacceptable. Governor Pritzker signs law giving illegal aliens more college aid programs. You got any kids in Illinois that are going to go to college? Well, guess what? They're not going to get any money because JB is going to give it to the illegals. Oh, and this from a student in Florida was nominated by his own teacher as most likely to become a dictator because he was a conservative. That's what a parent has now revealed. Let's go to this school board meeting in Florida.
My son, 6 years old, was prohibited from sitting next to his friend on the school bus because a parent objected to my perspectives on book challenges. My older son's history teacher allowed students to label him a Nazi file simply for his interest in history and participation in ROTC. She later nominated my son as the most likely to become a dictator and had his classmates vote on it and try to force him to the front of the class to receive the certificate, which he rightly refused, all because of his conservative values and our perspectives.
Thank you. James.
Unbelievable. A 6-year-old nominating him to be a dictator. Imagine if your son came home with that certificate. Oh, if my son came home with a certificate like that, you could bet Angie and I would go through the roof. Oh, you don't want to mess with Angie when it comes to school. No. And that's why we don't put our kids in these indoctrination centers. Sidney Powell is back. 11 hours ago, she writes, given the pattern, it appears investigation of every Democrat in office may be needed. Mortgage fraud. Quote tweeting Benny Johnson, director of Federal Housing Finance Agency Bill Plute, has officially referred Fed Governor Lisa Cook to the DOJ over alleged mortgage fraud. Here's the letter. Criminal referral for Lisa D. Cook. Dear Attorney General Bondi and Special Attorney Martin, pursuant to my authority as Director of U.S. Federal Housing Finance Agency, Federal Housing or FHFA, I'm referring the matter below as regular of Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac and Federal Home Loan Banks. Very serious allegations of mortgage fraud, bank fraud, wire fraud, falsifying documents, other criminal activity. Such misconduct jeopardizes the safety and soundness of FHFA's regulated entities and the security and stability of the U.S. mortgage market. Here she is. Winner. Let's see. Do we have, I know we have another clip on that. Or I thought we did have a clip. But no, we don't. But at least we have that. Mortgage fraud. From what I understand, based on my investigation, she did the same thing that Letitia James did and Adam Schiff did. If I'm correct, listing the primary residence in another state and then listing another state as primary residence. So they're calling it mortgage fraud, and now I believe that she has been called to resign. Well, speaking of losers, let's check in with Joy Reid having a meltdown after getting fired from MSNBC. Let's see here. Joy Reid has a meltdown. Joy Reid has a meltdown after Piers Morgan plays the video of her having a meltdown after getting fired from MSNBC. Oh, this should be glorious. Glorious. And of course, she doesn't have her Donald Trump hair.
Away, denaturalizing. That's Idi Amin behavior. There's a black fascist that you can compare it to.
Okay, let's move on to, I want to just play a clip of when you lost your job at MSNBC. Let's watch this.
My show had value, and that, I'm sorry, that what I was doing.
Value? What value? Your show had no value.
Had value. And in the end, I'm sorry, I try not to cry on TV. And whether it's talking about any of these issues, and yes, whether it's talking about Gaza and the fact that we as the American people have a right to object, to little babies being bombed. And I am not sorry that I stood up for those things, because those things are of God. And you know, I'm a church girl too, and those are the things that I was taught were of God. And so I'm not sorry. I'm just proud of my show.
Now, look, you're perfectly entitled to be proud of your show. Many people enjoyed your show for many years. You know, a lot of people at NBC were briefing that the reason was declining ratings post the election, a 47% decrease in your election, in ratings from pre-election. But you told Mark Lamont Hill on his show this.
After I said on my show that the reason Americans could relate to Ukrainians in a way that they didn't relate to Palestinians, that Ukrainians are white. And so watching white people get their schools bombed was, you know, hit different. That hit our ratings. I mean, it definitely, we could see the loss of white viewers from that moment that I said that. So they were like, we don't like the name calling. And also I'm a black woman. So, I mean, I'm sure it makes him angrier, you know, when I say things. Maybe because I am a global South person myself, you know, I mean, as a black person, we have a different empathy toward other global South people when they are suffering. And so we're going to come at that story from a different angle and in a different way and with different kinds of empathies. And I think that's not always received very well in the news business.
Now, Joy, I mean, look, let's be honest. I don't think you were fired after all those years because of your skin color or because you're a black woman. I think you were fired because your show just got increasingly unpopular. It happens all the time in TV. That's why you got let go. Why play the race card?
First of all, I love the fact that your play the race card is your version of the race card. You literally are so fixated on trying to racialize conversations with me, Piers. I find it actually quite charming.
You racialize more conversations in your tenure at MSNBC than any host in history.
All right, Mark. All right, Piers. And the bottom line is take an entire conversation that I had with Mark Lamont Hill and pick the bits that you can racialize, because this is your shtick. And I get that this is your shtick.
You racialize everything, Joy. Come on.
I get it. I understand this is your shtick, Piers. And listen, game recognizes game. I get this is your game.
It's not my shtick.
And the bottom line,
it was your shtick.
It is your shtick, and everyone knows that it is. Piers, we understand what it is. And it is so interesting to me that you yourself, as a white European, find that when people of color talk about race, that you believe is racializing conversations. But when people like you fixate on, well, Barack Obama was a black president, why don't you object to that? That is racializing a conversation about the former president of the United States. But you can't put your, and I'm sure you find that charming and funny.
I find it hilarious because you're the one. You're the one who said. You're the one who said Donald Trump.
You and your friend Donald Trump.
You said Donald Trump is a white fascist.
Are so. He is a well. I agree
and
with
yet
Mark
when Obama
Milley,
did the
who
same
was,
thing,
last time I checked, is
I'm not allowed
black.
to mention his skin color.
I agree with his former chief of staff, who last I checked was not black and said he's fascist. And Mark Milley said he's fascist to the core. Okay. So I happen to agree, and I know this is what it's important to you, with two very white gentlemen about Donald Trump's fascist tendencies.
Okay.
If that makes you sad and uncomfortable, I can't help you.
No, yes, it
There's
made me
nothing
sad
I
and
can do about
uncomfortable.
it.
I think it makes you a little bit of a hypocrite, but that's different.
Ship away.
Wow. Piers Morgan. Hats off to you. Oh, we got Ted Cruz chiming in. When Xi Jinping came to visit San Francisco, Gavin Newsom cleaned the city and removed the homeless and drug addicts. But if Newsom could clean up the streets for the CCP, why doesn't he do it for your kids?
Left wing. When China's President Xi came to visit San Francisco a few years ago, and Gavin Newsom came in and cleaned up San Francisco and took out the homeless people and took out the drug addicts, and the streets were sparkling. And I got to say, even if you are a left-wing Bolshevik in San Francisco, a tiny voice in the back of your head must have said, wait a second, if they could clean up the streets today, why didn't they clean up the streets last week? Why do my kids matter less than the president of China?
Because the president of China is... well, Newsom's in their back pocket. Newsom's social media strategy opposition to Trump is working. That's what Henry Enton says. He's getting millions of social media followers. Google searches for him are up like a rocket. He's now the front runner for 2028 Dem nomination per prediction markets. It's because Democrats want a fighter. That's terrifying. I'm not even going to play it. But one of my favorite musicians, Tom McDonald, got a new song out called The Devil is a Democrat. Give it a listen if you can. But he just posted this clip, 100% proof that Newsom and Obama are evil.
Days. These two guys are evil, and I got the proof. You ever listen to a record backwards and hear the subliminal messaging? Well, watch this.
Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Heck you say. Heck you say. Heck you say.
And trust me, you're not even going to believe what you hear when you listen to Gavin Newsom's speech in reverse.
I want to say a few words about the events of the last few days.
I'm Gavin Newsom, and I'm gay. I'm an evil, weird man.
That's 100% real. And these evil dudes is what inspired my new song, The Devil is a Democrat.
You gotta swear the devil lives in California. He a politician. He passing bills that bring chaos and division. Yeah, the devil lives in California. Should be in prison. He got horns, but he tries to keep them hidden. Cause the devil is a Democrat. And we don't play that. They say that. They love America. We know it ain't that. The devil is a Democrat. And we ain't with it. We ain't switching. Y'all are tripping. I guess God just built us different.
These two guys are
I think
evil.
we can
and
leave it right there. If you got value from this report, tap subscribe. My final thought is next. The Democrat crime syndicate is unraveling before our eyes. They use your tax dollars and major corporations as money laundering operations to protect criminals. Bank of America, Goldman Sachs, Universal Music, all caught funneling cash to sabotage ICE raids. A Fed governor committing mortgage fraud. Teachers brainwashing kids to hate conservatives. And where is that $700 million raised for fire victims? Spencer Prass asking the right questions. It's not incompetence. It's organized crime wearing suits and preaching diversity. They lecture us about democracy while running a massive criminal enterprise. And Sidney Powell's right. Investigate them all. From Biden's auto pen pardons to Newsom's mental breakdown, the whole rotten structure's crumbling. So here is my question. Should recharges be filed against Democrats using banks to fund illegal operations? Drop a yes or a no. And here's a bonus question. Is the devil a Democrat? Let's continue the conversation in the comments below and let them know that we are watching. Grab your American Badass gear from shop.nextnewsnetwork.com, linked down below.